What's going on, everybody? It's your girl D here with 8th House Energy. I'm just here to do a collective reading. Just wanted to see what's going on in the collective. I hope all is well with you guys. I hope you guys had a good day. Today is the first day of the solar eclipse. Okay, we just had a lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago in the full moon of Gemini. Today is the new moon in Sag. All right, and this is a solar eclipse. For those of you who are not familiar with the difference, the lunar eclipse helps to clear out, negative emotions, negative feelings, where the solar eclipse, which usually happens 2 weeks after, helps to bring in renewed energy, okay, renewed hope, positivity. And so because we're clearing out the cycle of the last 10 years here, and we're going into the new cycle in 2021, it's just fitting that we are getting ourselves ready as far as energetically and emotionally for the new cycle in 2021. So I just wanted to pull some cards and see what's going on with everybody after the fact. A lot of us have come out of karmic connections. This reading is for those of you who have come out of karmic connections, whether it's with family members or with friends, and you're in the process now of healing. The emotional aspect of it is starting to lift. It's starting to wane, so it's not as painful as it was when you were in it and you got to the point where you were fed up. A lot of you are starting to be able to breathe a bit, exhale a little bit, Some of you still may be a little apprehensive because the situation that you were in has been going on so long, so it may take you a little bit more time to breathe. But for the most part, what we're doing is we're wrapping up these lunar energies as far as the lunar eclipse and the triple moon, the triple super moons that we had going on from Libra season to now. So we're clearing all that energy out. All right. So let's just see where everybody is and what's going on. Okay, definitely major arcanas here, which makes sense. Transformative energies. We got a lot of Scorpio energy here. A lot of people in pain. A lot of people still in denial. But there are some people who have not come out of these karmic connections yet. They're trying to avoid something that's unavoidable as far as a disaster here. Some of you may be afraid that you may be... okay. Let's just do this. Ace of Wands, brand new beginnings. Okay, cheers to new beginnings, you guys. All right, with this solar eclipse that we have today. Okay, these energies are going to take us until the end of the month into January. Like I said earlier in my readings, this is the winter of healing. So, from now to the end of the month of December, we're basically getting rid of those frustrating emotions for those of us who come out of those relationships. We're beginning to exhale, right? And so moving forward from January to March is where the healing is. So this is like an interim period here. So I just want to take everybody's pulse, so to speak, and see what's going on. So, let's see. So we have the Seven of Wands here. Tower energy in reverse. Major arcana here. Queen of Swords in reverse, Libra energy. The Tower in reverse is Mars energy. We have the King of Cups in reverse, Scorpio energy. We have the Death card in reverse, Scorpio energy. We have the Three of Pentacles, Capricorn. We have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, which is Taurus. Seven of Wands, which is Leo. Queen of Wands in reverse, Aries. Five of Pentacles, Taurus. Chariot in reverse, Cancer. And Eight of Swords, Gemini. Some of you are feeling stuck in a connection still. You may be feeling I feel like you're defensive right now because you may have people who are trying to reach out to you. Some of you, you're like, I'm sorry, this is the 10 of Wands. Forgive me. I said the 7. This is the 10 of Wands. So some of you have let go of these burdens or this stress that was going on with you and these karmic partners, whether it was family members or whether it was lovers. Some of you, for very few of you, could be business partners or friendships, but the majority of people, it was family members and lovers. And some of you have finally let go of this burden. You see how he has all the wands on the ground now? You know, and he's just holding on to that one, which is this one here, the new beginning. Okay, as an overall energy. So I feel like that's what's going on here. You finally said, you know what? I had enough. I'm tired. I'm letting this go. You know, you didn't want to have a blowout with this person or with these people. You really didn't. You were trying to avoid that with the Tower in reverse. But that wasn't possible. It was impossible to do. You were in denial about that with the Queen of Swords in reverse. And besides that, you were in too much pain. So for some of you, it was like you had your back up against it's like, you know, backing an animal up against the wall. You know, and so for some of you, it could have been a violent situation where, you know, things really got hostile between you and whomever. And you were trying to avoid that. And I feel bad for those of you who had to go through that, where you may have had to defend yourself against violence. But for some of you, that's just for some of you, not for all of you. But for others of you, it was just, you know, all of these burdens, okay? All these wands could have represented, you know, family members, ex-lovers, you know, all of these over the last 10 years, okay? And I feel like with the Queen of Swords here, this energy here, you're in a lot of pain. When she's in reverse, she's in a lot of pain. When she's upright, she's been through some things. She's not in pain anymore, but she don't take she don't take a lot of trash. But for her to get to that point, she has to heal. And before she heals, she's in a lot of pain. And I feel like this is where you are right now. You're in a lot of pain. It's a lot of hurt. It's a world of hurt. And, you know, and it's more so of a betrayal than anything, and or you being in denial about things. For some of you, you realize how you were in denial about it. It was like no matter what you did, the only way that this would have stopped was for you to stop entertaining it. And so with the King of Cups in reverse, that's exactly what you did. You stopped entertaining it. Okay? And as a result, I feel like with the death energy here, some of you may feel stuck. You may feel stuck because you may feel as if you're not able to stand your ground in some way, shape, or form. For some of you, this is a lot of family members that you've cut off, okay? For some of you, it's a combination of a lot of family members and lovers that you've cut off. So it feels like, you know, I think about Tupac, me against the world. Like, I feel like for a lot of you, that's the energy you're feeling, you know? And some of you, I feel like you're just very angry, you know, especially with the Queen of Wands in reverse and the Queen of Swords in reverse here. I feel like you were the only one who was working on the connection with the Three of Pentacles here. You just wanted people to work with you. It's like, hey, look, let's work together. I'm trying to, you know, I feel like it was your side, it was their side. For some of you, you know, if it was a relationship, you know, counseling was shunned. Some of you may have considered, hey, let's go to counseling. Let's see if we can work this out, whether family counseling or marriage counseling. I feel like some of you may have tried that and it didn't work. You may have tried that as a last resort. You may have tried confiding in friends, other family members. You tried to work it out. You tried to talk it through. And I feel like you doing that was pointless for a lot of you. You know, you were trying to avoid the fact that, look, if I cut you short, it's going to be it. I feel like for a lot of you, this is a very awkward position that you're in right now. Because for a lot of you, you've never stood up to these people in the manner in which you have. And because there's so many of them, that's a lot of energy for you. And so it's just an awkward place. So you are feeling stuck with the death energy in reverse. You didn't want it to get to the point where you were, you know, no longer going to be putting in effort and energy into the connection, but you had no choice. You had no choice. You had to let it go. And as a result of you letting it go, this was healthy for you. I feel like for a lot of you, this was healthy for you. You had to. A lot of you were to the point where you were definitely starting to get sick. You were going against yourself, because when you're fighting against someone, and I'm not talking physically, when you're in a relationship with someone that you feel like, okay, well, we got to work this out or I can't leave. And every time you're in a connection with them or you're around them, there's constant friction all the time. And it's to the point where when you're going to see this person, your whole body your whole energy, your whole attitude just switches, because it's like, oh God, I got to go be around this person. So you're already in defense mode. Your body's already in fight mode. And then when this person comes around, it's just like, okay, so every time this person comes around, you're in fight mode. And it's just aggravating, because it's like you felt like you couldn't get away from it. So for some of you, this was your parents. It's like, God, I get an energy of, for some of you, this has been going on since childhood, this issue with your family and your parents. And I feel like for some of you, I'm going to keep it 100 and just say this. This is not for everybody. But some of you, you felt like you would never be able to walk away from your parent. You felt like to the point where the only way that you would not suffer in this pain is if your parent was no longer in the 3D realm. I feel like for a lot of you, you felt like that's the only way that you could escape this torture, because you were not spiritually evolved enough to understand, wait a minute. Yeah, this is my family member, but I could walk away from this. Yeah, this is my baby's father, but I could walk away from this. Yeah, this is my husband or my wife, but I don't have to deal with this just because we're married. I don't have to deal with this. And so I feel like the other people got complacent and comfortable in their position, because they felt like, okay, well, you ain't going nowhere, so you ain't got no choice but to deal with what I'm, you know what I'm saying? And these are people who were narcissists, very mean, very nasty people. They didn't give a shit about you and your feelings. But the thing is that's what their job was. Their job was to act that way towards you. That's why they were put in your life. Because it was to teach you lessons about self-respect, self-esteem, tolerating or not tolerating disrespectful behavior, okay? And, building you up spiritually, making you spiritually stronger. Some of you right now, you're at a point where, you know what? I'm able to do it. Like I said, some of you, you felt like the only way that you could escape this type of situation is if the other person was no longer here on the planet. Like you felt like you were chained and bound to this connection. But what happened was you awakened and you got spiritual insight and you got spiritually strong, and you're like, wait a minute, why do I have to be the only one who's frustrated? Hell no, I don't got to stay here. I don't give a damn if you're my mom, you're my kid, you're my husband, you're my baby's dad, you're my wife, you're my daughter. I don't care. I don't have to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when this came in. And the universe was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's where that Six of Wands comes in. Okay? And I feel like this is the universe. This is you on the horse. And this girl here is the universe saying to you, congratulations. You stepped up to the plate and you let these people know what time it is. Okay? And so that's the universe cheering for you. Okay? That's what that is. Now with this Queen of Wands in reverse here, some of you are still very angry. Okay? And some of you still feel like, wow, I can't believe I did that. And you're stuck in that energy. It's like, I can't believe that I did that. I can't believe I stood my ground like that. But yeah, you stopped putting in work and you left the situation alone with the Five of Pentacles. You had no choice. You had no choice. Because you couldn't continue on emotionally with this, with the Chariot in reverse. There was no way you could continue with this. When this is in reverse, this is a situation where you are emotionally, what's the word I want to use? Distraught. I mean, emotionally distraught. And like I said, for some of you with the Chariot, that rules the fourth house. That's about the home. That home consists of the home that you grew up with. The home you grew up in, as well as the current home that you're in right now. Okay? As well as the internal home in your spirit and your soul. For some of you, you were having problems when you grew. This started in the home. as a kid. Narcissistic parents, narcissistic family members, the family dynamics are insane. Disrespect, being mistreated, emotionally abused. A lot of you grew up in a good family as far as the finances are concerned. Okay, a lot of you grew up in good homes. Okay, maybe a lot of you were, and I'm not, and no disrespect to those who grew up in public assistance or public housing or anything like that, but a lot of you didn't grow up in those types of environments. A lot of you grew up in a home where you guys had a house, you had a backyard, your parents had cars, you went to decent schools. Okay, you ain't never had ripped clothes. You never went a day without eating. The lights was never off. You had everything you needed, but your parents were not emotionally nourishing to you. They were actually the opposite. So a lot of you grew up in those types of environments. On the flip side, others of you grew up in those environments where there was public assistance. But it wasn't that, there was an issue with that. It was just the environment itself. The people that you were around, the people you were subjected to, the victimization, the things that you had to go through living in those environments, going to school in those environments. So a lot of this started in childhood. Some of you were just bullied as kids. And your parents really didn't do anything about it or couldn't do anything about it. Maybe they, and so this, as a result, whatever you experienced that was abnormal, it became normal for you. And so as a result, like I said, that pain that we have in us and we give out that energy that we radiate out. I don't know if I said that in this reading, but we radiate what we feel deep down inside. That is like our radar. It's like an amplifier. You can't see it, but people can sense it. And so those radars that go out, that frequency that goes out, people are drawn to us because of it. And so as a result of that, we have to look at the people that we let in. We can't help who we attract, but we can help what we entertain. Just look at yourself as that light bulb in the summertime. At night, it's got all kinds of insects, moths, like what, mosquitoes, flies, moths, gnats, all kinds of insects flying around it. But it can't help that because it just shines bright, so it attracts all kinds of those energies. Now the thing is what will you entertain as that light bulb? Will you say, okay, I'm going to talk to you, or I'm going to communicate with you, I'm going to resonate with you? You have to ask yourself why you resonated with that and why you allowed that to go on so long. That's how you look at your shadow self and figure out, okay, that's what attracted me to this person. A lot of you started back in childhood. Okay? And so you're realizing that now. A lot of you didn't know why you were attracting this type of people, why you were in these relationships, why you allowed them to go on so long, why these people were in your life. But you see, this is the universe here telling you what's going on. Like, you can see now. You can take this off now. You see what's going on. You know what it is now. And so a lot of you are in that self-reflective stage where you're like, okay, I understand. A lot of this started because of childhood. Most adults who have any issues, a lot of times if you look back at your childhood, it started in your childhood in some way, shape, or form. All right? Not saying that everybody's got bad parents, because everybody doesn't. Because like I said, it could have been something external to your family. It could have been you going to school, getting bullied at school. Okay? That could have been an issue. It could have been you may have been abused in some way external to your home environment. Okay? It doesn't necessarily mean it happened in the home, but for a lot of you it did. But this to me is telling me that for a lot of you it's childhood issues. Okay? So that's what I'm getting with that. For a lot of you, I feel like you were abandoned emotionally with the Five of Wands here in the Chariot in reverse. Like I said, your parents, you may have had a lot of money, or you may have had decent money. Your parents just may have not had time for you. Some of you could have grown up in environments where you had everything financially, but you were latchkey kids. Your parents worked and you was just you and your family members. As far as siblings or whomever else, and you guys raised yourself. And so, that type of energy that went on when you were children is still going on as adults, which is why you don't get along now. And if the parents never stepped in to say anything, some of you, your parents were very angry, especially a lot of you, if you were grew up in environments where you were a single parent and where you lived in a house with a single parent. A lot of you, your parents were just taking out their frustration on you, their frustration with life. and what was going on, and you didn't even realize it. Some of you like, damn, why is my mom so mean, or why is my dad so mean? Because they were going through shit. And you know what happens is a lot of times people go out into the world and they go through shit, and then they come home and they internalize it, and then they take it out on their family members. So this is why a lot of this starts in the home. So some of you, you know, you were treated, you know, terribly. Some of you were in environments where you were kicked out of your home as teenagers because, you know, you were misunderstood. I feel like a lot of you were kicked out. I feel like a lot of you maybe were in foster care as well. Parents weren't around you. You didn't have parents to raise you. Okay, and so that's what I feel like for a lot of you. So it was just the trauma that you dealt with in childhood. So what I'm feeling is accepting that as part of you is going to be beneficial for you. We all have dark sides to us. We all have some unfortunate things that we've experienced. But what we have to do is we have to first acknowledge it. Okay? This is this person here, you know, communicating with someone, whether it's your spirit guide or whether it's someone that you can actually talk to, a counselor, but saying, hey, you know, you can come out of this if you want to. This is what he's telling her. You can come out of this. You can come out of this if you want to, but you have to acknowledge why you're even here in the first place. Okay? And that's what's key. Acknowledging why you're there in the first place and accepting that that is a part of you and who you are. You can never get rid of that. Some of us have gone through situations where we've been sexually abused, emotionally abused, physically abused. And that little abused kid is still living with us, still inside of us. Some of us try to go on as adults and act like that kid is not there. But that kid is never gonna go anywhere. That kid is a part of you. So the first thing you must learn is to accept the fact that that kid is always going to be a part of you. Number one. Number two, love that child. Love that kid. You know why? Because that kid is not going anywhere. And what that kid wanted in the first place is love. So now you as an adult, you're ignoring this child. So this child will never heal. This child needs attention. This child needs to know that it's loved. So you have to embrace that. If you don't have anybody around you, you know, in your alone time, hug yourself. Give yourself time to break down. Hold yourself and hug yourself and apologize and say, I love you. I love you. I don't care what those other people said to you or what they did to you. You are loved. Here and now, know that you are loved and I love you. And you are fine just the way you are. You have to. All right? Once you embrace that child, you'll start having a better relationship with yourself because you'll start healing. You will be surprised at just how hugging yourself and crying it out could help you. So it's important that you acknowledge that inner child that needs that help, that needs that inspiration, that needs that love. Be that parent to yourself that your parent couldn't be. You are an adult now. You can do that for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you saying, you know what? You didn't have a father in your life. Let me be the father you need to be. You know, that you need it. You know, for my fellas who may not have had a father in their life, or they may have had a father who was abusive or emotionally abusive or what have you. You know what? Let me be good to you. Let me be the father. What did you want to do when you were a kid? What did you enjoy at that age? Think about an activity you enjoyed. Did you like coloring? Go get your ass a coloring book and some crayons and sit down and have therapy with yourself. Color. Did you enjoy the little trucks, go and buy you some trucks and sit down with yourself for an hour and just tap into your child and play with those trucks. Give that child what that child needed. It sounds strange, but I'm telling you, if you start addressing that child and start acknowledging that that child is there, you will start to heal. That child will not be in as much pain as it was before because it knows that it's loved. That, again, it's important that you understand that child is not going anywhere. That child is always a part of you. So accept it, love it, and embrace it. And do for that child. Did that child like to paint? Go get you some paint. Go get you a canvas. Go get you some paint. Take an hour for yourself and tap into your inner child. Did that child like to read? Whatever that child liked to do. Did that child like to go to the park? Did that child like to go swimming? Whatever age it was and whatever you like to do at that age, tap into that inner child and just try it. What have you got to lose? You are in a process of healing. What have you got to lose? Nothing. Is that child angry and scared and frustrated? Why is it angry, scared, and frustrated? Hug that child and tell them it's safe and that you will never allow anything like that to happen to that child again. Acknowledge the child. Acknowledge that inner fear. Acknowledge that frustration, that anger, that betrayal, feeling left out and alone, feeling deserted. Acknowledge that and apologize to that child and let that child know that moving forward, they will never experience that again. Now, this is what I'm telling you. You can't afford counseling. Okay? You got to spend time with yourself and nourish yourself. It's very important that you do this for yourself. Whenever you're feeling that energy, take some time for yourself. Don't worry about what other people. You don't even have to share this with other people. Don't worry about what they have to say. This is your therapy. This is your life. Okay? And I guarantee you'll see some results. Just keep doing it consistently. You know, if it's once a month, take an hour out and go get your crayons and sit down and color. I know plenty of people, when I used to work in a call center environment, plenty of people used to have coloring books. Not like, kid coloring books, but the adult ones. You can do the kid ones if you want. Whatever your kid, that inner kid is asking you. If you don't want to do those and you want to do the adult ones, then go get you the colored pencils, go to the craft store and get those books. And just sit down for a minute, on a whatever day, just sit down for an hour and just color. You will be surprised, okay, how therapeutic that will be for you. You will be surprised, all right? So it's very important, that shadow side of you. Those of you who experience, physical abuse, sexual abuse, things like that. Again, that child is not going anywhere. Let that child know that it is safe and that it will never have to experience that again. Look at, the feelings that you felt. Accept the fact that it happened. It was not your fault. You were around people who were irresponsible. You were around people who were not mature enough to understand your needs. That is never a child's fault. So it's important that you tell your child, that inner child, that it's not your fault. And you as an adult now, you understand the difference between responsible adults and irresponsible adults. So you know that looking back at the situation, you were around people who were irresponsible, or they just, left you with people that they trusted, but these people weren't to be trusted. Unfortunately, that stuff happens once in a while and is very unfortunate, especially for those who have to suffer. But I'm telling you, acknowledge the child, acknowledge the pain, see what it is that inner child would have liked to do at that time and do it. Did you like movies? Watch a cartoon. Go and watch cartoons for an hour. Go watch a Disney movie. You would be surprised how therapeutic it would be for your inner child. Feed your inner child. That's what's going to make the child heal and feel safe and know that it's loved, because you're not ignoring it. That child, if you're not paying attention or talking to it, is just sitting in that closet and you just sitting there brooding, angry. And that child is eventually going to come out. That frustration is going to come out in a situation where you're not going to have any control of it. The point is you want to have control over that part of you. Having control of that part of you means acknowledging that part, accepting that part, knowing it's there, and saying, I know you're there, I love you. You're you know what I mean? You may look at that child as the black sheep of yourself. You got the black sheep of the family, but don't treat that child that way. Understand this child just has special needs, and you need to give it the special attention it needs so that it feels nourished. You have to nourish every part of yourself. You can't just nourish the good, and don't nourish the bad, the dark. You know what I mean? You're not going to be balanced. We can ascend as much as we want to, but if we don't deal with our dark side, you can only ascend so much. All right? Let's get you some advice. I feel like I've been... I'm telling you, this is something that I used and it worked for me. So I just wanted to pass it on. What advice do we have for the collective? What messages of hope and inspiration? Ha 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 ha. Take action. So take action. Communicate with that child. Communicate with that inner child. Tell that inner child that child is loved and appreciated and respected. And is a part of you, and you will always acknowledge it and respect it. Take action. Don't just sit back. Community. Some of you may need to reach out in your community for resources if that's not something that, like, you know, some people may need more extensive help. Okay, reach out in your community, contact your city hall and say, hey, you know, I'm looking for counseling, or look, contact your insurance company if you guys work and you have insurance. Look for family counseling. You know, see if you qualify for family counseling. See if there's something locally in the area where you would be able to go to. Some of you may have alcohol and drug problems as a result of not dealing with your inner child. So some of you need to look at the community resources for help. Okay? That coupled with your personal therapy that you do with yourself, you'll see. You'll see. It'll help. Okay? There's nothing wrong with going to a psychologist and a psychiatrist. If you want to do that, that's fine. But use a couple of different tools. Okay? Because not one is going to help you with everything. You know what I mean? It may be some issues that are not addressed when you go to rehab that you could address yourself by just nurturing your inner child. So you're getting all of that. So we have thinker. Yeah, so this is a time of reflection to think about what you've been through. Think about what happened to you. Think about how you felt. Think about what a child at that age would have been doing, what was normal activity for that child, and try to find some type of activity that you can do with your inner child. But think about what went on. There's nothing wrong with thinking about it. Some of you don't even think about it. It was so painful for you, you put it in behind. But, you know, you have to understand that that is still a part of you, and blocking that out and acting like it's not there is not going to help you at all. It will never help you. Some of you are afraid to take that leap and to talk to that inner child and to go and dig deep and find out what's going on. But that is the only way that you're going to heal that pain in you, is to go ahead and take that leap. There's some great tools on YouTube. New MindFrames, NUMIND. Let me see if I can find her channel. She has some great, new MindFrame, NU, and then MindFrame, MINDFRAM. Check out her, and as soon as I pull it up, the first one she talks about is how to refather yourself, reparenting, how to remother yourself. This sister is deep, okay? And I'm telling you, the tools that she has, she came out of environments like this, okay? She had a narcissistic mother, terrible family members, and she shared her story and what helped her heal. So I want to recommend that to you again. That's new. NU, second word, MindFrame. MINDFRAM. And look for the video for how to refather yourself, reparenting, and how to remother yourself, reparenting. Okay? That's for those of you who are dealing with childhood issues. All right? So that's what I got for you guys. I hope this resonates. Let me know in the comments, you know, if anything that I said to you made sense at all. And I wish you guys the best, and I'll check in with you later. Peace out.